Hey guys, what's up? Derek T here, Films with Purpose Studios Alpha. Films with Purpose Studios Alpha. All right, I'm gonna come on here real quick. This should go on my military channel, but I'm gonna put it over here as well because something I need to shed light on. Something I need to shed light on because I'm hearing a lot of people talking about Cuba and what's going on in Cuba. And I said, you know what? Let me go ahead and shed light on this because a lot of people, a lot of content creators have never been to Cuba. And I know that a lot of them do not have the experience that I have when it comes to Cuba. So I'm gonna shed some light on some things so you guys can kind of understand exactly what the people go through there and how blessed you are to be an American, because no one has really touched on this yet, unless they've done like I have, unless they've served in Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, like I have, and unless they've worked migrant ops while serving in Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, as I have. So, yeah, let's shed some light on this. I'm not going to go too deep. I still practice OPSEC, even though I'm not in the military anymore. But yeah, so let's talk about it. And I tell you what, I'm glad to see Trump doing what he's doing. And I'm praying that Cuba finally gets free from that communist regime and everything. You guys have no idea what these people went through, but I'm gonna give you a little glimpse. I'm gonna give you a little glimpse because if Americans had to face these two choices, you would lose your mind. Y'all would lose y'all's mind. You would fight tooth and nail to make sure this didn't happen. You didn't have choices like this. Oh man. You may start off as a liberal and all that, but let these choices come down to you and your loved ones. I guarantee you, you're gonna go from liberal to the most patriotic person, willing to give up your life instead of having to face these two choices that the Cubans had to face. There are two of them. And I've been listening to see if anybody knows about the other one. I ain't heard it because a lot of them weren't there. Even one came close. He was saying, hey, man, they go through this, they go through that. And I was just waiting for it. I'm like, he wasn't there, so we don't know about this other choice. All right. So I'm going to let you know. But first, before I do that, let me let you know who's talking. Because we got to make sure nowadays that, because a lot of people can say a lot of things, and got to make sure that people are who they say they are. So most of you guys remember me from Sailor Soldier Airman books. So you guys already know about my military record. Excuse me, but most of you that don't, I'm a veteran of 3 branches of the United States military. I know I've heard it all before. What? How are you a veteran of 3 branches of the military? Well, quite simple. What you do is you serve your time in one branch, and when you're finished, you get your honorable discharge, and then you go and apply for the other branch and rinse and repeat. Or you can do what's called some people do a transfer, inter-service transfer. So while they're in one branch, they're able to transfer to another branch once they get the permission from the command of the new branch that they're coming over. So that's inter-service transfer. I did prior service enlisted. Prior service enlisted and inter-service transfer are the 2 ways you can go from branch to branch. Okay. All right. Look them up. So before you start crying stolen valor and looking like an idiot in the comment section, when other people who actually I serve with check you because they follow me, y'all really think that somebody's gonna come on here and claim 3 branches and with everybody out here in the open, I mean, come on. That's wow. And you got to be an idiot. You know what? You're an idiot if you're doing this stolen valor crap. You're a complete idiot, man. That's just the stupidest thing I've ever seen. If you didn't do something in the military, don't talk about something you never did. It will be found out. There's too much information. There are still people here who serve with you, who remember you. They're online. Hello? Wow. And then you got some that are haters. They hate to see that you're doing well. You got a platform, so they'll come on and lie anyway. No, he didn't do that. Whatever, dude. So it's a trip, man. I don't know what's going on with some of these veterans in their circles. Some of the veterans in the circles, man. Golly, dude, it's turned into a toxic space, especially on TikTok. That's what I call it. So I don't even really talk about military or veteran things on there anymore. It was like, no, I never thought I'd see that community so hateful and jealous, and it was crazy. Very few are really good, but the majority of the ones I saw on TikTok were just, it was bad. It was bad. So let me bring this up, guys. All right, so here I am, 1997, joined the United States Navy. 2004, United States Army, 10th Mountain Division, Fort Polk, 4th Brigade, Wild Boars, not at Fort Drum. And then Air Force was the only reserve. And that was also 2009. So I got out Army. I went in the Army 2004, 2009. Then right after the same month I got out, I joined the Air Force. So, but this one I want to talk to you about was my time here in the Navy and being in Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. So, because most people don't have this experience. And here, let me show you this real quick. All right, here are my old Cracker Jacks, guys. So anybody that knows, yeah, y'all know what that is. Initials, division. So they're my initial division, Cracker Jacks. That's how you know someone's been in the Navy. They kept it. You'll see that. Then you guys remember this right here. So in the Navy, you have what's called a rocker. So whenever you're on a ship and wherever you got your duty station, you got a rocker of that duty station wherever you're at. And it's on, you put it on. I know your dress blues. I think just on the dress, do we put it on the I don't remember if I had it on the whites. I just remember, well, here it is on my dress blues. It's been so long. So there you go, guys. So let's look at this. Let's look. Is Derek talking about was he really there? Okay, you guys see that. GTMO short for Guantanamo Bay. All right, so Naval Station, Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. All right. So I was there. My rank at the time. Boom. ENFN, right? And I got promoted to petty officer while I was there. So then when I went to Sigonella, Sicily, I was NCO. So there you go, guys. All right. So once I was in Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, now here's what's interesting. So my rate was Injiment. Now, what happens with this is that while I was in Injiment A school at Great Lakes, I graduated distinguished grad, and I had other jobs I could have chosen. People think, oh, you're dumb. Man, look here. ASVAB scores, all that stuff. Look, my focus was, hey, I want to go to Buds. I want to become a SEAL. I want to become a SEAL, and I want to make sure I knew how to keep the engine running. I want to make sure I picked a rate that was going to get us out of Dodge. So of course I didn't do it, and that's okay. I didn't do it, guys. So I don't see what the problem is, guys. Look, if you weren't a Navy SEAL, what's the problem with saying I was not a Navy SEAL? It doesn't make your service any less. You know, those guys, they do amazing stuff. They're awesome. But guess what? I'm okay not being one. Y'all got to learn how to be comfortable in your own skin, man. And yeah, I was not a Navy SEAL. I'm like, no, I'm good with that. I'm cool. So, you know, I went to the Army and guys thought I was. I was like, what the hell? I said I was in the Navy. I never said I was. Anyway, it was crazy. But yeah, so I was in engineering A school, and they had this general billet came out, and they were looking to up the military police force with the master at arms, because they knew that there was and this was 1998, so they knew that there was a terrorist threat among all bases, and the tempo was picking up, as we know now. But looking back, Navy was seeing this and everything, so they're like, hey, we're going to need more people to help out with the master at arms, so we need to tighten up the level of security on all the bases, because something's getting ready to go down. So they came to our classes, and they asked for volunteers. And I said, how long is it? They said it's for 3 years. And then I asked this question. I said, so do we have to wear dungarees or do we wear camouflage? And they said, you wear camouflage. I said, so no dungarees and no dress whites? He said, nope, you wear camouflage the whole time. You're going to look just like the master at arms. You got your badge, everything. I said, oh, okay. Yeah. I was like, sign me up. So I volunteered, guys. I volunteered, and boom, there we are. That's me right there. Yeah, I volunteered, man. And I said, sign me up. Went over there to Lackland Air Force Base, got through the course and everything else. And we went, it's the same course the MAs go through. We had a couple MAs in our class, but a lot of us were 95, 45s. And a lot of the guys that didn't make it through BUDS went through this. So you would call them BUDS drops. So they had to do this for 3 years. So during that time, a lot of the guys at the gates were guys that didn't make it through BUDS, didn't make it to the SEAL team. So, and then the schedule was great for this. You only worked like 15 days out the month. You did like 3 days on, 2 days off, 2 days on, 3 days off. And so it was a lot of time to work out, do other things. I directed my first 2 movies while I was in Sicily, while I was doing this and everything. Sicily was after Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. So, so as a 95-45, you guys look it up before you start trying to put stolen valid and all that stupid comments in the comments section. Just do some research. Look up NEC code. It's 95-45. You'll see U.S. Navy law enforcement specialist. All right. So here, let's look at a closer look. Do you see that badge right there on my chest? It says U.S. Navy. Okay. Y'all see that? All right. So we all know what I was doing. Okay. This picture, you see my belt, and there's my weapon right there. You can barely see it, but there my rounds on my side, and there's my badge right there too. So, all right. So this is what it was like. So we wore at Guantanamo Bay, Cuba too. So anywhere we were, and then we had to starch our hats like the Marines and all that. So here we go, guys. And you do know the Marines is the Department of the Navy. Well, the Navy is not the Department of the Marine Corps. Just keep that in mind. Marines, keep that in mind. Oh, they're going to light me up. The Marines are going to light me up. The Marines are going to light me up in the comments section. Come on, man. Come with it. Come with it. Because I got one to top you. My dad was Master Gunnery Sergeant. Oh, Pops was Master Gunnery Sergeant. Ooh, yes. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So y'all know I'm coming over here with the truth. Y'all already know. So yes, my life started the military. My life started with entertainment first. Then I didn't go to the military until I was age 26. Prior to that, I was doing movies, commercials, and off Broadway, stage managing, all that, touring and all that stuff. Got burned out of that, then I went to the military. So it's been an interesting life, guys. So I found myself in Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. And found myself there in 1998. And from there, that's when I started working. I was a patrolman for a minute. And then I went into migrant ops. Now, this picture was taken when I was in Sigonella, Sicily. I'm just going to keep this up so you guys can kind of understand, because I wore the same uniform, same type of uniform when I was in Guantanamo Bay, except we had our sleeves rolled up and everything else. So worked in Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. Worked in migrant ops, and one thing about I did patrolman for a while, for like about a few months, and then I was sent out there to the migrant ops. And when I went out to migrant ops, boy, I had some leadership issues with one of my section leaders, and we almost went to blows. So yeah, it got. So sent me out to the migrant ops, and it was at migrant ops, guys, that I got to see something that most people do not get to see. I got to experience something that a lot of people do not get to experience. And let me tell you this. You really have no idea how blessed you are as an American until you see what people will put on the line just to get an opportunity at freedom. An opportunity at freedom, because once they got to us, once the Cubans that were escaping got to us, they weren't guaranteed that they would go to another country. Some of them had to go back. Some of them had to go back. And you want to know what happened when some of them went back? Northeast Gate, Marines, you know what I'm talking about? Marines that served in Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. You know what's up? Northeast Gate. Tell me I was lying when I say that some of these people had to go back. And a few feet from that gate, you heard a gunshot. Tell me I'm lying. Americans, you don't know what that is. Americans, you don't know what that is. There's something else you don't know what that is, Americans. You don't know what it is to cross a minefield. Now, do you? See, I've seen some other content creators on here, and they were talking about the situation about swimming with the sharks and everything else. Yeah, that's the other option. But they didn't know about the minefield that a lot of them cross and don't make it. And you hear it when you're out there at the migrant op camp. You hear it in the distance. You hear it. Imagine being faced with that. And you got your wife and kids with you. Is it hitting home yet? Is it hitting home yet? Y'all really don't know how good you got it. And there are probably some Cubans on here online that may remember me when I was looking out for them out there at the migrant camp. It would be glad to, I'd be glad to hear from you. They went to Miami, they went to another country, and I tell you what, man, it becomes like family out there. And you get to know each other, you see each other on a daily basis. And then when you come out there that one day, man, and you hear that they're getting ready to leave to go to another country, after years of waiting, they're finally able to leave, man. I'm telling you, man, it just chokes you up. It just chokes you up. They have a party out there, and it's just, we're still doing our job, and we just celebrate with them. And man, you guys have no idea, man. And I'm gonna tell you, liberals, you have no idea what you protest against, what you protest for, or what you have no idea. Liberals, let me ask you a question. Because y'all help me make this make sense. You guys know that Maduro's a dictator, right? You guys know that the Ayatollah are dictators, right? I thought y'all said y'all don't support dictators. But lately you've shown us that y'all love dictators, but you hate Trump. So I guess that means Trump's not a dictator, huh? We all knew that. This is funny. Liberals, as soon as they see an actual dictator, oh, let him go free. We love him. We need it. So you want the people in Cuba to stay in bondage under that dictator, and Castro didn't play. Look at the dates. I was there from 1998 to 2000. Castro was still in charge. And what those people had to live off of for a family? 5 pounds of meat, some rice, and some vegetables to last them a month? Are you kidding me? No wonder why they were crossing the minefields and taking a chance to swim with the sharks, taking a chance to get on a raft and hopefully make it over. No wonder. And then all the stories you hear from them personally, and I'm not going to share those stories. And then going in there, checking on people, and they're in there having nightmares in their rooms. Standing up grown men just sitting there crying because they thought they were still over there. You liberals need to sit y'all's butt down, man. Y'all get a text and y'all crying. You guys get one mean comment. Oh, you're reporting to TikTok. Hey, they hurt my feelings. You need to block them. You need to get them, TikTok. Chinese Big Brother, get them. Then you get people's blocked, people, you go in there talking your smack, and then as soon as somebody checks you, you get your feelings hurt. You run to Daddy TikTok, and then Daddy TikTok, bans their account and everything else. But y'all couldn't handle what people had to deal with over in Cuba. Let somebody get your order wrong at McDonald's or something. Oh. Y'all have no idea how good you got it. You have no idea. 18 months, Guantanamo Bay. On that itty bitty island. And the majority of the time was out in migrant ops. Interesting times. Then, try this one on for size. Try hearing the minefield going on. Sometimes it was animals, but other times, the majority of the time, it was people trying to cross. Then you happen to have some new people come in, especially after this one. I'll never forget this one big one went off. I'll never forget this, man. Dude, I'll never forget. And I think about it during like a lightning storm, it would just come back to me because I remember my shipmate and I were on the porch at the shack and we were like, we're sitting there, or we used to call it the Connex. We're sitting there. It was just talking. It was just a slow night. Nothing was going on. And it was just peaceful. Then all of a sudden we saw this flash of light in the distance to like the right. It just went. It went like this. And you just saw it. And then you heard the sound. Sound came in. You was like, oh, but this one night, it went like that. And then it went boom. And then the sounds got bigger. And then it hit. And I looked at my shirt. And my shirt looked like it was moving. I was like, yo. And we looked at each other. We was like, yo, bro. We was like, damn. And we sat there, it's like, man, they did not make it. That wasn't an animal. They did that. Those were humans. They're not here no more. They didn't make that. Then a week later, you come to work. There's a new group there. So you go back to, I'm not going to tell you what they were called. I'm going to say there were two areas. One area, those that just arrived. The other area, they've been there for a while. Their paperwork has already been cleared, and they're just waiting to extradite to another country. So they're right here. So you got Alpha, newly arrived. Bravo, waiting to go to another country, be away from Cuba forever. So you go over to Alpha section, go through the gate, lock yourself in there, and you see some new people are there. And you sit there and you talk to this one man who just seems to just be out there at the gate. And he just walking and looking. You go out there and you talk to him. He's real nice to you. He's real cool. And then he starts, he has a little sense of humor. And he starts saying, you Cubano? No, I'm not Cubano. He said, yeah, look at your face. You Cubano. I said, no. He said, you sure? You Cubano to me? I said, no, I'm not Cubano. A lot of Cubans that I saw when I was in Guantanamo Bay, there are a lot of Cubans that look like Black Americans. There's some that look like, I've seen some that look Russian too. I seen two brothers. One looked like he was African American, and the other one looked like he was Black American. And the other one looked like he was Russian. And I was just like, these two are brothers. I was like, okay, I'm not gonna take that course, but I'm gonna take your word. All right, cool. But so I'm talking to this gentleman, this Cuban migrant, and we're sitting back there, we're just talking, and I said, no, I'm not Cuban, man. I'm Black American. I said, but I said, so when did you get here? He said, I got here sometime during the week. I said, okay. I said, so how did you get here? And I knew it's only one of two ways. Either you built a raft, or you swam, or you crossed the minefield. And he goes, I crossed the minefield. Me and my buddy crossed the minefield. I said, oh, wow. I said, man, what? I want you to just think about this for a second. He's not the only one I've talked to that crossed the minefield to get there. These aren't military trained people. And even in our military, we don't be crossing no minefields for no training. We will do a little training on how to detect the mine, but to cross a minefield, I'm standing there talking to somebody that's braver. I'm like, that's braver than me right there. You won't cross a minefield. I'm in awe. I'm in awe. Dude had on flip-flops. I'm in awe. He made it through. He said he crossed with his buddy. And I looked back and I said, man, who's your buddy? I said, I said that, him right there? And he says, no. He said, my buddy didn't make it. I said, oh man, I'm sorry to hear that. And he said, yeah, and he goes, and he says, and it was the way he told it, he accepted it. He just put his humor into it. And he told it in a way, he just says, he said, yeah, me and my buddy were running. And as we were running, he stepped on a mine. And he stepped on the mine, he went boom, and he went flying over me. I was still running. And then he landed on another mine, boom. And then the other part of him landed on the other mine, boom. And I sat there and I was standing there and I was looking at him, I'm like, and I started thinking, I said, wait a minute. I said, hold on, man, hold on. I said, when you got here, you've been here like, you just only been here a couple of days, right? I said, yeah. He said, yeah. I said, wait a minute. Was that last week? Few days, was that last week? He goes, yes, see. Y'all don't know how good you got it. You guys don't have a clue. Here's the other part of this that's jacked up too. You know that there are also women and children at the migrant camps too. And they come in one of two ways. Swim, raft, minefield. Go do your research, guys. You guys think I'm on here lying? Go do your research. Look up the Cuban minefield. Ask people about that minefield that served there. Ask some Marines about the minefield that served there. Ask some Marines about what happens ask some Marines about what they've seen on the Northeast Gate, where they're able to see over to the other side. Ask them. Ask them. And there's a naval base already there on Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. The Marines are already there on Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. Coast Guard's already there. Customs comes through there. I have an interesting story about that one. Everybody you could think of they do come through Guantanamo Bay. So there's no, well, one day it'll be a base. No, the base is already there. Base is already there. And the migrant op it's not close to to where everything is, like the schools, the families, and everything else. It's off in a good distance. It's off in a good distance. There's this long stretch of road. Long stretch of road. I mean, that straightaway is the longest straightaway I have ever traveled on. And then once you're down there, make a cut to the right. And it was just, and I have a picture of it on my website. There's a website. I have a website, my filmmaking website, my acting website. You go to DerrickTWilliams.com, DERRICK, Williams.com, T, I'll put it up here. You go there. Let me see if it's already up here. Here you go. You go here. Let me show you. You go to this website, right? Let me show you a receipt. Anybody who's served in Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, knows exactly what this is. Hold on, let me get this one out of here. See that right there? That's my website. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the road on the way to migrant camp in Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. This is Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, right there behind me. I used to run down that road. I was very in shape back then. But that's what that is. That's exactly what that is. Here, let me show you something else. I'm gonna go through the site. You guys can go through it later. This is showing my body of work and everything. But it's down here. Yeah, I've been doing some things, guys. Yeah. I was in that movie, yeah. It was me earlier, before the military. I was in entertainment, stage managing and all that. Yeah, production manager. Look at the glasses. I talk about the military. This is Guantanamo Bay. As you see right here, this is the Lyceum Theater. It's outside. So I used to go here when I had my time. And even though I was in the military, I was still focused on my dream of, becoming a filmmaker. And this is where I'll be writing my ideas for my scripts while I'm looking at the screen, visualizing, imagining one day my movies are going to be up there. When I was in the Army, whenever we had a break, I would jot down my ideas and different things like that. So there it is. The seats now are blue. Back in the day, they were red. So this gives you an idea of Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, guys. This is Guantanamo Bay. This is a part of it. Part we're allowed to take pictures. There's some places we were not allowed to take pictures of. Okay. So, and this is where I saw Blade. And when I was watching Blade, it started raining. So it was kind of cool watching Blade in the rain. I never did that before. I was like, I watched the movie in the rain. It was cool, man. So yeah. That's Guantanamo Bay. I have other pictures, but that's for another day. But that's it right there, guys. That's GTMO. I have no pictures of the migrant ops. None. That's a no-no. So, and I'm not going too deep onto that and everything, but all I know is if you're in the United States Navy and you get a chance to go to Guantanamo Bay, Cuba and volunteer for migrant ops, I say do it. It will change your life like you wouldn't believe. It will change your life like you wouldn't believe. Part of your duty too. And this is where I found out something about the Marine Corps. Something about the Marine Corps that a lot of you do not know, except if you're in the Navy and you're in the Marine Corps. Something y'all don't know and understand about the Marine Corps, but one day you might. So let me tell you how I came about this one day. So when we show up for duty, migrant ops, part of our task is we have to go pick up the meals for the migrants out there for both sides, Alpha and Bravo. So we have to go and we get in the truck and everything, and then we go back to like the main part and everything, and we go to, you would think we go to the Navy galley side and everything else, but they really didn't have that like that. We went to the Marine side because the Marines were cooking for the migrants. The Marines were cooking. And let me tell you something. Let me tell you this, guys. Man, look here. Semper Fi, Semper Fi, Semper freaking Fi. The Marines kick butt when it comes to cooking. I am not kidding you. I've been through 3 branches. I'm going to tell you now. The Marines can cook. The Marines can cook, especially some breakfast. Oh my gosh. I went to that DFAC and had these, what were they called? Vats. We take them out, give them to them, trade them out, and they give us the new one with all the hot food in there and everything else. And they give us trays too for us to have and everything. So, and I remember taking back my tray. I said, "Ooh, this food smells good." And my buddy was like, "Man, look here. The Marines throw down, brother." I said, "What?" He said, "Yeah, wait till you bite that. Wait till you taste that bacon." I said, "Okay." Man, I taste that bacon. I like. He was getting ready to pull out. I'm like, "Man, wait. Where are you going? Where are you?" He said, "We got to get back to the mine." I said, "I don't care. Whoa. We got to get another plate. We got to get another plate." Oh my gosh. All right, guys. I'm gonna save that one for another one, man. I'm gonna save that one for a video on who's the best cooks. I'm telling you right now. The Marines. And I'm gonna tell you this too. There's some good pilots too. I'm gonna tell you something, man. Guantanamo Bay, that's a spot. That's a good spot for families. That's a good spot for families too. So I just wanted to shed some light on why I'm supporting Trump, and I'm praying that Cuba is free from all the communism and everything, and families can go back, visit their families and everything and whatnot. And I want to see that. That would be a big deal because I remember us having to go through these drills. I think it was called GTX. I can't remember what the drills were. We had to go through the drills. Lasted for like 3 days in case Castro decided to attack the island. So we had to do these drills and everything. And one time we were going through these drills when Hurricane Andrew came in. That was crazy. Yeah, that was great. Imagine being in the ocean when in the early parts of that were coming in. That's another story. Me and my buddy, man, I'd never been flipped out of the water that high, and everybody saw that. They're like, "Ooh." That wave was crazy. Oh man. But yeah, Guantanamo Bay, that's a good place for a family. Man, it's small town, it's like small town USA. And it was good duty, man. At first, because I was around some guys that like to complain a lot and stuff, but then after they were gone and they got kicked out the Navy, and I was there, and I was like, you know what? I got my head back together. And I was just like, and I started enjoying being in Guantanamo Bay. I was like, man, and I'm tell you something, every now and then, man, I actually miss that kind of isolation, man. Something about, man, I'm telling you, you guys join the military and you're in the Navy and you want that time to just, you want that time to just be like, I just want to go somewhere and just do my job, work out, go back to the room and work on whatever else I want to work on. That's it. Man, you need to go ahead and go to Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. Go to GTMO. It depends on what job you have or whatever, but yeah, man, that place is going to help you get focused because all the distractions are gone. Every last distraction is gone. You're surrounded by water. Every last distraction is gone. Now, here's one of the best things I like about it too. If you're married, this is good too. Man, the housing back then it was really good, but from what I've seen on the websites now, y'all got it made, man. It's nice, and I think you guys stay there for 3 years. So, and it's just small town. Man, it's really cool. I saw a lot of families had a good time there. A lot of families had a good time in Guantanamo. It was hard for single people at first because we're so used to all the other stuff here in the state side. But once you get over there, man, and you get used to it, or you really want to just train, like lifting weights, and you really want to just train and do your job, and like that place right there is it. It is it, man. And yeah, I'm gonna have to do another video just talking about. I think this was going to be on my military channel, Military Quest. I'm gonna talk about the benefits and why you should serve in Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. But the migrant op camp, man, that really that's gonna blow you away. That's going to be something that that experience will never leave you. And if you were kind of a person back in the day where you thought everything was about you, as I did at one time, after doing that job, you will never think the same ever again. And it's a good thing. I mean that in a good way. You will know it's not about you. And you will know just how good you have it as an American. And then so then when you see things going on like this and you see these liberals out here, these kids that barely making it through college and everything else, seem like they act like they got all the answers in the world, ain't never been nowhere, definitely not serving no military, but never left their home state, or they just only been in the States and just college, that's it. As far as being a part of what's going on in the world, they have no clue. But they seem to know how to handle policies and everything else better than the president when they can't even handle their bills right. They can't even handle their student loans. They can't even handle their own relationships. But they seem to got all the answers to all the problems in the world except for their own. Go figure. Go figure. That's why you just can't take them seriously. But you give them a decision to where, hey man, this is what's going to happen. You're either going to risk swimming with those sharks to get over to freedom, or you're going to cross this minefield. And you got 30 seconds to think about it, and 20 are already gone. Give them a decision like, oh yeah, no sir, they ain't making that. They can't even fathom that's even true. They can't even think that. Are you serious? What's that say? What does that say? What does that say? It's easy to talk a big game from the comfort of the United States behind your computer. Bravo. But go raise up that right hand and become a part of something bigger than yourself. And go over there. Get sent over there so you can see what's really going on. Then come talk to us. That's all I got. That's all I got. So I appreciate the commentators. You guys are doing your job. You guys are doing your best. And, you didn't have that experience to go over there or not. But, I'm sure you find somebody else that did, that actually worked migrant ops. If you find somebody else, I did. There's only so much I'll talk about it. But yeah, that was something. It was an experience like no other. And I'm looking forward to the day when I actually run into somebody that I helped get over to a better life from Guantanamo Bay. And I'm thinking about doing a movie about this, my experience out in migrant ops. Because a lot of Americans, y'all just don't know. You have no idea how bad Castro treated those people. I want you to think about that. You would rather risk your life. You and your family all together agree that, look, we either going to make it on this raft or we're going to make it through this minefield. But we got to get up out of here because we're not going to make it here if we stay. It don't get that hard in the United States. It don't get that hard in America. It doesn't. I don't want to hear it. Ain't nobody got to cross no minefield. Liberals, you don't have to cross a minefield to get up out the United States and go somewhere where you like it. You ain't got to cross a minefield. You don't have to swim with sharks to do it either, liberals. All y'all got to do is just shut the heck up, pack up, and move on out. Ain't nobody going to miss you. Kudos to the woman that went to Canada. Kudos to her. Now she really sees what she had when she was back here in America. And she was a liberal. Did you guys see that video? She's not the only one. But she ain't have to cross no minefield. And she ain't have to swim with no sharks. Y'all don't know how good you got it. So my next video, I'm going to talk about the Marines. Some things y'all didn't know about the Marine Corps that I found out on Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. That's my next video. I'll see you guys over there. Take care.